Hi, my name is Davis, and I am 35 years old. I built and own a company that's been my pride and joy. However, everything changed when Cora, a confident and creative 30-year-old from the marketing department, walked into my office one Tuesday morning. Her innovative ideas and passionate presentations quickly caught my attention, turning professional admiration into something deeper. This shift became apparent during a company party. Amidst the lively music and flowing drinks, Cora approached me at the bar. We struck a deal to set aside our work roles for the evening and just be Davis and Cora. Hours of easy conversation followed, confirming my feelings were more than casual. Later that evening, fueled by the ambience, I confessed my growing feelings for her. Cora needed time to think but acknowledged a mutual connection. We agreed to explore this new terrain together, starting a journey filled with emotions, love, and challenges. As she walked away that night, I was filled with both relief and anticipation, ready for whatever our future might hold. It was a Wednesday afternoon, about a week after our conversation at the party, when Cora came to see me in my office. As I dealt with paperwork, she appeared at the door with a nervous smile. "Hey, do you have a moment?" she asked. "Of course, come in," I responded, feeling my heart race. She sat down, and after a brief silence, she spoke. "Davis, I've thought about what you said. At first, I was surprised, but I've realized I feel the same. There's a real connection between us." Relieved, I smiled. "So, what's next for us?" "Let's take it slow," she suggested, "and see where this goes." We began dating, getting to know each other beyond work. As we shared more about our lives, I saw her kindness and compassion. She made everyone feel special. A year later, I proposed during a dinner at our favorite restaurant. Amidst applause, she said yes, her eyes tearful. Our wedding was intimate and joyful, filled with vows of love and support. Months after, Cora announced her pregnancy. The excitement was palpable. We were expecting twins, a boy and a girl. Holding Smith and Anna for the first time was indescribable. Our family felt complete. The next 15 years passed with laughter, love, and challenges. We supported Smith and Anna through their milestones and struggles, and our bond with each other only grew stronger. Despite the ups and downs, we cherished our life together, grateful for each moment. Cora was more than my wife, she was my best friend and the love of my life. As I looked at our family, I knew we could face anything together. The following years were magical. Our family thrived, constantly discovering new joys in each other's company. Our home resonated with the laughter of our children, Smith and Anna, whose antics, like building a couch-cushioned fort after escaping their cribs, brought us endless joy. Cora and I maintained a balance between our professional commitments and family life. My company prospered with her innovative marketing, but weekends were reserved for family time. We enjoyed baking together, creating a kitchen full of flour and laughter, with Smith's wild flavor experiments and Anna's meticulous decorating. Each evening, we cherished our dinner conversations, sharing daily experiences and reinforcing our family bond. As the kids grew, Smith showed prowess in sports, while Anna excelled academically, often immersed in books. We supported their endeavors, feeling immense pride in their achievements. Our 15th anniversary was celebrated with a dream trip to Hawaii, where we explored, relaxed, and enjoyed the stunning environment. One sunset evening, as we watched our kids play on the beach, Cora squeezed my hand and reflected on our journey. I agreed, feeling content and invincible in that perfect moment. However, I was unaware that soon our bond would be tested in unforeseen ways. For now, we basked in the happiness of our lives, not knowing the challenges that lay ahead. Our love, which had brought us this far, seemed strong enough to face any future trials. As you know, the past 15 years had been a dream come true for Cora and me. Our lives were full of love, laughter, and the joy of watching Smith and Anna grow. But life, as it often does, had a surprise waiting for us, one that would test our strength and resolve in ways we never anticipated. It all started with a routine checkup. I had always been diligent about my health, ensuring that I didn't miss my annual doctor visits. This year was no different. I walked into the clinic feeling fit and fine, expecting the usual nod of approval from my physician. But as the checkup progressed, I noticed a shift in the doctor's demeanor. He seemed more serious, more concerned. "Davis, there's something we need to discuss," he said, his voice carefully controlled. "Your MRI showed some abnormalities. I'd like to run a few more tests." A cold wave of fear washed over me. "What kind of abnormalities?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "We found a mass in your brain. It's likely a tumor," he explained. "We need to determine if it's benign or malignant and decide on the best course of action." I sat there, numb, as he outlined the next steps. It felt surreal, like a bad dream I couldn't wake up from. I left the clinic in a daze, my mind spinning with questions and fears. How could this happen? I had no symptoms, no warning signs. What would this mean for my family, for our future? When I got home, Cora was in the kitchen, preparing dinner. She looked up and smiled when she saw me, but her smile faded as she noticed the expression on my face. "What's wrong?" she asked, concern etching her features. I took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. "I had my checkup today. They found something, a tumor in my brain." Her face went pale, and she put down the knife she was holding. "A tumor? Are you serious?" I nodded, feeling a lump in my throat. "They need to run more tests to see what we're dealing with." For a moment, we just stood there in silence, the weight of the news hanging heavy in the air. Then, she rushed over and hugged me tightly, her body trembling. "We'll get through this," she whispered, her voice breaking. "We'll do whatever it takes." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of doctor appointments, tests, and waiting. The uncertainty was agonizing. Finally, the results came back. The tumor was malignant. My world seemed to shatter in that moment. The doctors laid out a treatment plan, surgery, followed by radiation and chemotherapy. It was going to be a tough road, but I was determined to fight. As my treatment began, I tried to keep things as normal as possible for Smith and Anna. They were old enough to understand that something was wrong, but we didn't want to burden them with the full gravity of the situation. Cora and I sat them down and explained that I was sick and that the doctors were working to make me better. They took it better than I expected, showing a strength and maturity that made me incredibly proud. Cora, on the other hand, was struggling. At first, she was supportive, accompanying me to every appointment, staying by my side through the treatments. But as my health began to deteriorate, I could see the toll it was taking on her. She was exhausted, emotionally and physically. One evening, after a particularly grueling day of treatment, I came home to find her in tears. She was sitting at the kitchen table, her face buried in her hands. "Cora, what's wrong?" I asked, my heart aching to see her like this. "I can't do this anymore, Davis," she sobbed. "I can't watch you suffer. It's tearing me apart." I reached out to her, but she pulled away. "I know it's hard," I said gently. "But we have to stay strong. For the kids, for us." She shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know if I can. I'm so tired, Davis. I feel like I'm drowning." I didn't know what to say. I felt helpless, knowing that my illness was causing her so much pain. I tried to reassure her, to remind her that we would get through this together, but deep down, I could feel her slipping away. And then, one day, she was gone. She left a note, saying that she needed to get away, to find some space to breathe. She took Smith and Anna with her, leaving me alone to face the battle ahead. I was devastated, but I couldn't afford to fall apart. I had to focus on my treatment, on surviving. Days turned into weeks, and the loneliness was crushing. I missed my family terribly, but I knew I couldn't let despair consume me. I needed help, someone to stand by me through this ordeal. That's when I thought of Emma, an old friend who had always been there for me in the past. I picked up the phone and called her, hoping against hope that she would answer. "Emma, it's Davis," I said when she picked up. "I need your help." Without hesitation, she agreed to come. Emma arrived the next day, bringing with her a sense of calm and determination that I desperately needed. Emma was a godsend. She moved into my home without a second thought, transforming the bleak atmosphere into one of warmth and care. Every morning, she helped me get ready for the day, managing my medications and ensuring I followed the strict dietary regimen prescribed by my doctors. Her presence was a constant reminder that I wasn't alone. But the road to recovery was long and arduous. My body was battered by the aggressive treatments, surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy. Each session left me feeling weaker, but Emma's unwavering support kept me going. She was there through every step, her optimism and resilience infectious. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, I found myself sitting on the porch, watching the sunset. Emma joined me, handing me a cup of herbal tea. We sat in comfortable silence, the golden hues of the sunset reflecting the hope she had brought back into my life. "Thank you for everything, Emma," I said, my voice filled with gratitude. "I don't know what I would have done without you." She smiled, her eyes soft with kindness. "You don't have to thank me, Davis. You've always been there for me when I needed you. This is what friends do for each other." As the weeks turned into months, I slowly regained my strength. The tumor began to shrink, and my health improved. The doctors were cautiously optimistic, and for the first time in a long while, I felt like I had a future to look forward to. Emma's dedication went beyond mere friendship. She managed the household, took care of all the responsibilities, and ensured that I had everything I needed. Her presence was a constant source of comfort and motivation. And through it all, I began to see her in a new light. The bond we shared grew deeper, transforming into something more profound. One evening, as we sat by the fireplace, I realized how much she meant to me. The warmth in her eyes, the gentle touch of her hand, everything about her brought me solace. I knew then that I couldn't imagine my life without her. "Emma," I began, my heart pounding in my chest, "I need to tell you something." She looked at me, curiosity and concern mingling in her gaze. "What is it, Davis?" "I've been thinking a lot about everything that's happened," I said, taking a deep breath. "You've been my rock through all of this, and I can't help but realize how much I've come to care for you. I know this might seem sudden, but I think I'm falling in love with you." There was a moment of silence, and I feared I might have overstepped. But then, she reached out, taking my hand in hers. "Davis," she said softly, "I've always cared about you, more than you know. Seeing you go through this has made me realize how much you mean to me too. I love you." The weight of her words lifted my spirits, and I felt a profound sense of joy and relief. We leaned in, our foreheads touching, and in that moment, I knew we were embarking on a new chapter together. As I continued to recover, our relationship blossomed. Emma's love and support were instrumental in my healing process. She filled my days with laughter and light, her presence a balm to my weary soul. Together, we faced each challenge with determination and hope. One day, during a follow-up appointment, the doctor delivered the news we had been waiting for. "The tumor is in remission," he said with a smile. "You've made remarkable progress, Davis." Tears of joy filled my eyes, and I turned to Emma, who was beaming with happiness. We embraced, overwhelmed by the news. It felt like a second chance at life, a new beginning. As my health improved, I realized that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with Emma. I planned a small, intimate proposal, inviting close friends and family to witness the moment. In the garden of our home, under the soft glow of fairy lights, I got down on one knee. "Emma, you've been my light in the darkest times, my rock when I felt like giving up. I can't imagine my life without you. Will you marry me?" Her eyes filled with tears, and she nodded, her voice choked with emotion. "Yes, Davis, I will." Our wedding was a beautiful celebration of love and resilience. Surrounded by those who had supported us, we exchanged vows, promising to stand by each other through every joy and challenge life had to offer. It was a day filled with hope and happiness, marking the beginning of a new chapter in our lives. But as we embarked on this new journey, little did we know that the past would come knocking once more. Cora, believing I had succumbed to my illness, would return, bringing with her a wave of unexpected complications. But for now, as Emma and I stood hand in hand, we faced the future with unwavering determination and a love that had been forged through the fires of adversity. Our new life had just begun, and together, we were ready to embrace whatever came our way. Our bond had deepened, leading to a beautiful new chapter in our lives together. But even as we celebrated my recovery and our love, shadows from the past began to creep back into our lives. One day suddenly, I heard the crunch of gravel under tires. I looked up to see a car pulling into the driveway. My heart skipped a beat as I recognized the figure stepping out of the vehicle. It was Cora, looking as stunning as ever, but there was a hardness in her eyes that I hadn't seen before. She walked towards me with a determined stride, her expression unreadable. I felt a mix of emotions, surprise, anger, and a twinge of sadness. What could she possibly want after all this time? "Davis," she said, her voice cold and businesslike. "We need to talk." I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. "Cora, what are you doing here? Why now?" She glanced around, taking in the sight of the house and garden. "I heard you were sick." I assumed, well, I thought you'd passed away. The bluntness of her words took me aback. "As you can see, I'm very much alive," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "Clearly," she said, her eyes narrowing. "I need to talk to you about our children, Davis. Smith and Anna." At the mention of their names, a protective instinct surged within me. "What about them?" I asked, my tone cautious. "They miss you," she said, her voice softening for the first time. "They want to see you." I made a mistake, Davis. I shouldn't have left." Anger flared up inside me. "You think it's that simple, Cora? You abandoned me when I needed you most. You took our children and ran away. And now you come back, expecting everything to go back to the way it was?" She looked down, her facade cracking. "I know I messed up. But Peter's gone, and I don't know what to do. Smith and Anna need their father." The mention of Peter's death hit me like a punch to the gut. Despite everything, I wouldn't wish that kind of loss on anyone. I took a deep breath, trying to process the information. Just then, Emma appeared at the door, her eyes widening as she saw Cora. She quickly walked over, her expression concerned. "Is everything okay, Davis?" I turned to her, feeling a wave of gratitude for her presence. "Emma, this is Cora. She's here to talk about the kids." Emma nodded, her gaze shifting to Cora. "Hello, Cora. I'm Emma, Davis's wife." Cora's eyes widened in shock. "Wife? When did this happen?" "After you left," I said, my voice firm. "Emma has been by my side, helping me recover. We got married a few months ago." Cora's face twisted with a mix of emotions, surprise, anger, and something that looked like regret. "I see," she said quietly. We stood there in awkward silence for a moment before Emma spoke up. "Why don't we all go inside and talk? This isn't a conversation to have out here." Inside, we sat around the dining table, the tension palpable. I recounted the events of the past year, my diagnosis, Cora's departure, and Emma's support. Cora listened, her expression a mix of guilt and sorrow. "Davis, I know I hurt you," she said when I finished. "I was scared, and I acted selfishly. But Smith and Anna shouldn't have to suffer because of my mistakes. Can we find a way to make this work for them?" I looked at Emma, who gave me a reassuring nod. "Cora, I want what's best for our children," I said. "But it's not going to be easy to rebuild that trust. We need to take it one step at a time." Cora nodded, tears brimming in her eyes. "I understand. Thank you, Davis." As we navigated the complexities of co-parenting, Emma's support was unwavering. She welcomed Smith and Anna with open arms, helping them adjust to the new dynamics. It wasn't easy, but we made it work for the sake of the kids. Cora's presence brought back painful memories, but it also highlighted the strength of my relationship with Emma. Together, we faced each challenge head-on, our bond growing stronger with each passing day. One evening, as Emma and I sat on the porch, watching the sunset, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" I said, taking her hand in mine. "We have," she replied, her eyes filled with love. And we'll keep moving forward, no matter what. In the end, life had thrown us many curveballs, but with Emma by my side, I knew we could face anything. Our journey was far from over, but I felt hopeful, ready to embrace whatever the future held for us.